not just Roki when he came up from Japan. Is this version of him and who he is on the mound, confidence, how he's using his stuff, full pitch mix, is this the guy that you kind of heard about as well or seeing right now?
This is the guy that we saw in video in Japan, and that we hope to get. I think that we were all guilty of expecting it to be seamless, and certainly unfair to Roki, and not appreciating that there has to be some transition period, and he's went through some tough times and some doubts, but he's gotten to the other side, and a lot of support in the clubhouse, and I think he's feeling that. He's put in a lot of work himself. He's a lot more physical. The stuff is really playing well. We talk about that split, and the split now, ironically, is kind of to the velocity that it used to be in Japan. And so there is an adjustment with the ball that he had to make with his grip with the split, but now it's 90, 91, and yeah, I mean, it's just, and you can see his demeanor on the mound, just real confidence, and it's good to see him get through 7 innings tonight the way he did.
Is there an example of how you're now seeing it hit a consistent pace and just he's building with each outing, not only getting better, but you're just seeing a consistency?
Yes, yeah. Every time, I think, certainly now, I think we can all agree that the floor for Roki is much higher, and the expectation every time he takes the ball is high, and he's earned that. And I think if you look at the last 6 or 7 starts, it's been as good as any starter in the big leagues in the consistency of performance. So really proud of him, and I know that he wants for more, and the floor has just been raised. Now it's just continue to raise that ceiling.
What part of him now stands out to you most about like what you saw in videos? It's really how he went about guys, is it the stuff, the velocity? What sort of stands out the most watching it now?
Just the mound presence. I think if you look at the stuff, the results now, striking out high 20%, walking, 5 to 6%. That's what he did in Japan. And now you're talking about major league hitters. So the performance now mirrors that. And then just the way he's carrying himself, there's just no more doubt and uncertainty. I think that, you can tell a pitcher, and hitters can sniff it out when a pitcher is not confident.
In the 7th, when you sent Roki back out there, sometimes pitchers can, in a tight game, get too fine or too cute. The way that he responded, he just seemed to attack another level. How much do you enjoy that response to the challenge, and how his overall mound presence and demeanor?
It was a challenge. It was something that we've talked about how, when you want to give him more leash, and in a 0-0 ball game, 85 pitches, 86 pitches, something like that, where we could have easily pivoted. But I wanted to see how he responded in the 7th inning. And to your point, yes, he did. He was on the attack. He didn't run from the 7th. And that shows a lot of growth. Like I said, I'm just really happy for him.
Dave, Roki's a pretty reserved guy, but I don't know if you saw in the 5th inning after he struck out Frazier, kind of beat his chest once. What does that say about how confident, how comfortable he is in his own skin?
It's good. I love to see the emotion tempered. It was a big out. He threw a good pitch to get the strikeout. And I like the way that he had emotion but didn't go over the top and exert, more energy. And so knowing that there was more baseball to play. So, but to see that was good to see.
After Roki pitched the way he did, defense, made some great plays behind him. What was the feeling in the dugout seeing Freddie hit that walk-off?
Great. Freddie just has that aura. Will Smith has that same kind of pedigree. And, yeah, you just really, there's not too many guys in baseball that you'd want up, in a game-winning situation. And, Freddie does it once again. So, I mean, I don't know how many of those he's had, but it's pretty remarkable how we can kind of want to be that guy and come through as many times as he does.
Do you feel like the addition of that harder splitter is when things really did kind of start to change for Roki?
I do. I do. I think it just now, if you look at, if you can kind of plot map his fastball with his slider, with the split, it's all similar velocities and then all does something different. And so now, the slow one popped and it wasn't consistent as far as strike throwing. So this one is more in line with his throw, and everything coming out of the hand looks the same now.
What did Detmers do well tonight for them?
Detmer's velocity was up. Just really lifey fastball tonight. Seems like every time we play these guys, whether it's in the spring or in the season, we get this guy, and I've always liked him. And I think he loves facing us, and it's a good slider, just a good competitor.
What did you think of Mickey's play?
Unbelievable, unbelievable. Miggy is he's just so much fun to watch, and I'd pay money to watch him play defense. Just a really, really good play. Yeah, I mean, he like we talked about some other guys, you know, he always kind of does something to help us win, and he's just such a good teammate and big play.
Dave, Miggy's barehander or Esmeralda's diving play at third?
I would say the barehand play. The barehand play, but SB has been so solid on the defensive side. But Andy's play in center field was a good play. But I'll take Miggy's play.
Dave, this version of Sasaki, does it remind you, you talk about his mound presence, does it remind you of anybody you've seen before?
I don't know. I think that he's a hard kind of comp because of the age. He doesn't remind me of any Japanese players, so I can't say, like a Darvish or a Hideo. There's a lot of young players that have come that you could start to see more confidence after they get hit in the mouth. Robo in a different way has kind of similar in that sense. I think even, Emmett, when he was scuffling, you see the look in the eye versus now the confidence of feeling like he is the best option when he's out there. I saw from Yamamoto a couple years ago, once he kind of got his bearings on Major League Baseball. But this has been a really good one because we saw it where it was really, we all felt sorry for him and sad for him. And now he's like arrived as an adult and a Major League player and real confident player.
During that time when he was kind of getting kicked in the teeth and stuff, and I mean, honestly, a lot of times his body language afterwards was really bad. At what point did you kind of think, like, was there something that told you, like, you know what, he's going to get through this and he's going to come out on the other side of it, or?
I do think that the last year in the postseason on the biggest stage to pitch some big outs, to rebound from that, tough year was one part of it. And then I don't know what point this year in April where he sort of just said enough is enough. But I do think that split changed his trajectory too. The profile of his pitch mix. You just can't ignore that either.